From being a cocktail waitress at Second City, to screenwriting, to producing The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, to life as a grant writing consultant, Beth has shown us how we can continuously reinvent ourselves. In today's conversation, we dive into why a doctor's note became the permission she needed to approach this next journey with ease, how she made close to $15K in revenue within her first year as a brand new, never touched grant writing before with only a couple of clients. And we also talk about how she thought the collective might be a scam when she first learned about us. Let's dive in. You have had a robust career. We went from Chicago Bulls season ticket intern to the Cubs manager to a Second City cocktail server, so cool, to grad school for screen and playwriting, to a substitute teacher, to moving to LA to become a screenwriter. You fell into producing reality TV. You went on to produce Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, Beverly Hills Nannies, Vanderpump, like what? Then got married, became a mom, retired, taught yourself SEO. Then you became a full-time content creator for a blog, a ghostwriter, social media comms for Princess Cruises, pandemic, again, not great timing. Reality TV came back into your life, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, double confirmed reality TV life wasn't for you. And boom, sold your blog and needed a career change. Like, what? I cannot believe that I get to talk to you.
When I wrote it all out, I was like, how do I even condense all of this?
I think what you have done is taken us on a journey of how many different points in life we can choose something and it takes us to a different point, and how all of that can still feed into what we're doing today in a really, really beautiful way. So now we have all this stuff. How did you say, grant writing, that's my next gig?
When I was a eager 20-something trying to figure out what my next move might be, a man that I had been through my work at the Chicago Rush Arena football team had told me time and time again, Beth, you should get into grant writing. This is totally something you would be good at. No, I'm a creative. For some reason in my mind, thought that that was more technical writing, that was a universe where creativity wouldn't be as abundant. I sort of just wrote it off. There was always this like nagging voice in the back of my head. And when I worked for Extreme Makeover Home Edition, it was one of the most rewarding TV producing experiences. Say what you will about negative aspects that have come out since the show has been released, but generally speaking, it was a very positive experience. And being able to help families and communities, it was like, wow, I felt that sort of fulfilling. My creativity can coexist with supporting community initiatives. Then I got sucked into a different lane of TV producing. It wasn't until I finally kind of unpacked all of that in the pandemic, I would hear that voice again, like, what about grant writing? What about nonprofits? It kind of just hit me like, yeah, I think that's what I got to do. It's weird. And I don't know how to fully articulate it because it wasn't a straight path to passion. It was more my lived experiences have informed the full picture of what I'm able to do.
People call it a tapestry, and I think your puzzle piece tapestry is beautiful. It all feeds together in this really beautiful way. Share with us your skepticism of the collective and of gurus out there just trying to tell you that their way is this great way. I want it. Why you chose to join anyway.
I wrote a blog in 2017, maybe 2016. And at that time, there was a huge internet boom. How to become a blogger was a very searchable term. As a result, I wanted to turn my hobby blog of being a mom into a revenue generating thing. And to do that, I got sucked into several different courses, classwork, communities, Facebook groups. That was the end all be all of how to be a blogger and how to make $1 million. And I didn't fully get that until I had spent quite a bit of money in some sort of false promises. I quickly realized that, okay, what I really need to do is genuinely learn how to do SEO, tailor my content for an internet audience. I was able to pivot, but it made me quite disheartened about the kind of online course industry because it felt very manipulated and very disingenuous. So I was cautious when I saw y'all. I was like, okay, I'll start with the book. I'll try that. I'm not overcommitting. And I started reading the book and quickly realized like, no, it would be really helpful if I had more ways of asking questions. And then I started watching the YouTube videos, and I started to quickly see that the way the information was being presented was different. I thought, okay, well, I'll take a chance. And I have to admit, like, the year commitment at first was a little like, oh God, that's a thing. At the same time, I also recognize, like, they understand that it takes at least 6 months to build a business. They have a realistic expectation that I'm not going to make $1 million in 6 months. Well, I guess potentially you could if all of the stars align.
Yes, many, many, many stars.
But it felt like that was a natural, okay, yeah, I kind of see their rationale. And then once I started getting to the coursework, it quickly became evident that this is a different level of strategy, organization, teamwork, the people that you continually bring on. Every time there's a new coach, I'm impressed with their style of coaching, and the evolution too, introducing AI, scaling with the members, constantly trying to create different avenues to allow people to have success versus just do what I told you and then you'll be successful. Like, you genuinely want to allow people to find that path, which is refreshing. There is a vulnerability of how you engage with the community. It's not just professional. And yet when you do share your lived experiences, it feels authentic to the journey of being a human and a professional.
I'm very grateful that you found a different course experience, because I do think that there are course creators out there who are providing incredible experiences. And in that same breath, like, it's not an accredited space, right? There is no guidelines telling us how to protect consumers from their purchase. And so it's very real. And so I'm glad you did your research, and I'm glad that you've had a wonderful experience with us. Thank you for all the love. You transitioned into grant writing. How are you actually doing? How many clients do you have?
As an elder millennial, we were trained to be like workhorses. And the reality is we've all burnt out from that, and having a realistic perspective on how you can't just be a busy body and you have to, like, acknowledge the fact that life is happening is huge. And it was a huge transition for me to make, even with like a pandemic, being a mom, and going through several different life milestones. I still was like headspace of gotta grind, gotta make the money, gotta put the hours in. That's how I have value in the world. That's how I can prove myself and keep up with whatever idealistic image there is of being a working person. When I started the coursework last January, I had just started a recovery of chronic migraines. I had had vestibular migraines on and off for 14 years, and then they turned chronic in the summer of 2023. And I was just still like, gotta get through it. How do I fix it? Meet with this doctor, take this pill, try to just put my head through it. It wasn't sustainable. I feel very vulnerable even sharing this, but I had a horrible attack right on Christmas Day. I wasn't able to travel to visit my family. I wasn't able to do anything except lay in bed. That took me through New Year's Day. I thankfully, very shortly after that, was connected with a doctor who was able to diagnose the root cause of the migraines came from an issue in my neck. I had just started healing. I was super optimistic. He's like, you're going to be feeling so much better in 6 weeks, which was absolutely the case. But he was saying to me, okay, Beth, you have to lay down for 20 minutes every 2 hours. There was something so freeing about having the permission, like doctor's orders, like I have to go lay down for 20 minutes. As I was recovering, I started working through the coursework, and it was such a gentle experience of having that, okay, I'm going to do this bit of work, and then I'm going to go lay down. I'm going to make my list of possible nonprofits and send like 3 emails, and then I'm going to lay down. It was very eye-opening to me. And I've been able to carry that through as I've started to build my business. I don't ever want to go back to that place. I haven't had a migraine in almost a year. I'm a totally different person. Coming into the coursework and building a business, I knew this would take time, but I was secure enough to know that it wasn't going to take forever because of my lived experiences. And I was able to get my first client last March, who was an organization from my hometown. It's a symphony orchestra, and they were lovely to work with, but they didn't have the budget to pursue the grants. So it was like my first sort of experience of navigating that. The other element to all of this is that my North Star in my recovery was being able to have summers off with my kids. I was like, I want to craft the life where I work 9 months out of the year. I have 2 months off in the summer, and I have like a month off. I got certified over the summer, and then someone that had reached out to me, found me on LinkedIn in the spring, had reached back out to me and wanted to see if I would still honor the original proposal that I had sent her. And I said, actually, my rates have increased. We ended up meeting. That was the first time I was able to transition into a retainer client. It felt like the stars aligned and the timing was right. And they have been absolutely incredible to work with. I've applied for 10 grants with them so far, and we have about 4 more that we're applying for. I just proposed, like, let's start for 3 months. I'll do a funding strategy, and then whatever time is left over, we'll pursue those grants. And then after the 3 months, I was like, you have the option to extend. Would you like to extend? She said, yes. After that month, would you like to extend? And she said, yes. What started off as like a 3-month contract has turned into a 7-month retainer client. And she's told me that they are working to keep me on in this sort of capacity. They are awesome. They're highly communicative. They are on it. The organization is really well supported. They are a unicorn client. It's been just a dream to work with them.
That's incredible. You took the time, you found the work-life balance, and you also, with intentionality, cultivated the clients that you wanted to land. I think we often are like, we have to do it all, or we do none of it. What you have allowed yourself to do is do this with grace and with ease, and it has allowed the clients to still come in.
I heard the phrase last year, if it's meant for you, you can't pick it up. If it's not for you, you can't save it. Having that as sort of a mantra, because it really felt like trying to categorize what I think is actually perceived as success or perceived as important versus what actually works for me and what actually helps me stay present, move my overarching goals forward.
Hearing you repeat that quote back to me, I actually got tears in my eyes because you're so right. We all need to hear it all the time. What do you think you're most proud of as you look back at this last year and a half?
2 things. One is finding the balance. I pick my kids up from school every day. I help them with their homework. We go to sports and activities, and I'm still able to have a retainer client and submit high-level grants, all of that. It's a dream come true. And it feels like I'm actually making good on the promise that I made myself last year. The second is pushing past a comfort zone of, I submitted a proposal to speak at the Grant Professional Association conference, the GPA conference, and they have accepted my proposal. So I'm like, woohoo!
Congratulations!
Thank you. To do more of that kind of work, of presenting little nuggets of my experience to others in the hope that they might benefit from it.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, excited too.
Can I ask how much you think you made in that first year with the funding strategy and the retainer client?
Under 15. And I'm probably going to be close to the 50 by like the fall if the stars align. Right.
Let's end with some rapid fire questions. What is one word to describe your dream lifestyle?
Balanced.
The next vacation spot.
We're going to Hawaii this summer. A friend of mine did this, and I really like the idea of it. Is like when they turn 10, they get to pick where we go as a family for a trip. And then he's helping me sort of pick the activities and what we're going to do and where we're going to go.
That is so special. What a way to celebrate. Your favorite podcast?
Smartless, probably.
What are you reading right now?
I'm always reading 3 books. One for education. It's the $1 Million Consulting. And I'm also finishing Big Magic. I'm reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire with my kids. I just started Gentleman in Moscow.
What's your superpower?
Connecting people. I think I'm a super connector.
Super connector, and?
I'm very intuitive about people, situations, which I think feeds into the super connector. And read a room.
You seem to have a community of support around you. How critical that has been to your journey?
Essential. I was very, very lucky early on to meet my account buddy. And she and I instantly connected over sharing an instrumental account. Nice. We send our little current beliefs, upgraded beliefs almost every day. We read each other's drafts. I've hired her to help me with different elements for my clients. She is hopefully going to be hiring me back. It's nice to have someone to speak the language with. But on top of that, just in my own community, I have an incredible network of friends and family who are all cheering me on. Just knowing that I have people in my corner, and then obviously having the collective and having y'all. 9 times out of 10, someone else has already done it. If they haven't, then it becomes this really great thought experiment for everybody else to weigh in on. So I'm very, very grateful. And I often leverage the collective as like, listen, if you're working with me, you're not just working with me, you're working with over 500 experts in the field that I can just push a button and generally have someone probably applied to this grant, someone's probably answered this question before. And if they haven't, then they have people that they can put me in touch with. So it becomes this endless resource that bolsters my marketability.
Thank you so much for sharing. I am beyond impressed by your ability to really understand what the priorities are and then move everything around those. I think as women, it takes a lifetime to learn that if we ever get there, and to do so in community helps all of us to do it better. I'm really grateful for that piece of your story today, because I do think it will help others to be like, I have permission. Also, we can give ourselves the permission to prioritize the things that we want to prioritize. And I think that that's a beautiful gift to share with people. I know that this won't be the last conversation, because when you hit that 100K or 75K mark, we got some more things to talk about.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
Awesome.
Thank you so much,
All right.
Ellen.
See you later.
Bye.